Invitation is to find a place that best serves you to start off. So if that is seated with a little bit of support, then you do so. If coming into the practice, sitting cross-legged doesn't resonate with you, then find a comfortable seated that does work for you. Those of you that feel body wants to lie down, then find either some support underneath the legs and extend them, or bend the knees and find constructive rest. Offering any sort of support or movement as you touch the ground that you need. So sometimes when we touch the ground or our mat, our body wants stillness right away. And sometimes there's a little bit of movement. So as I meet myself today in my practice, I'm going to be seated and my body's just asking for a few circles, leading with my pelvis. And just taking that time to connect with self. Just leaving a little bit of space here just for you to softly move towards self and see what is needed. And as you start to settle, inviting in any support that is needed, I want you to see how you might want to begin. Maybe the arms are out to the side, palms facing forward, opening the chest. You can do this lying on your back or seated. Maybe the back of the hands, for those of us seated, might even be on the thighs. If you're on the floor, you're allowing the back of the hands to touch the floor. If you want to ground a little bit more, you might even turn the palms down, connecting to that flow of apana, that downward flow of energy, a little bit more exhalation focused. If palms are up, you're connecting to the flow of prana. So a little bit more focus on inhalation. Other option might be hands on belly, both of them, or one hand on belly, one hand on heart. So take a moment to feel the breath, maybe flow through a few cleansing breaths, some sighs, a little bit of pursed lip awareness. To balance the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, if it feels right, you might even bring in the physiological sigh to start. So that is two inhales, nice and smooth through the nose. You might have a slight pause at the top and then pursing the lips as you exhale through the mouth. If that felt nourishing for you, flow through it a few more times, 2 sips of inhale. If the pause at the top felt good, just take a moment to hover there. And then pursing the lips, exhaling through the mouth. As your breath starts to settle, returning to a smooth rhythm in and out of the nose when it's ready. Seeing that at any time you can release the breath out the mouth or move into the physiological sigh or something else that you feel is calling to you. Noticing the weight of your body as you are, seeing if the eyes want to close or just softly lower the eyelids. You feel the weight of your body each exhale. Just noticing your imprint. So if you're lying down, you can feel the imprint working from your roots of the feet, the legs, the pelvis, shoulder blades, and skull, arms. If you're seated, you can feel the weight of the pelvis, of the foundation, and the rooting into the floor, and the elongation of inner support through the spine all the way out the top of the head. And softening around that inner integrity. As you meet yourself here, noticing what's accompanying you into your practice today. Is body speaking? Are there rolling thoughts through the mind or different emotions present? Can we allow the heart to be our guide today as we meet ourselves with this compassionate awareness? Feel your breath expanding you, filling whatever it is that you need to receive. So you might even ask yourself, is there an intention or a sankalpa that would like to come in? What I would like to receive today. And that exhale can be a space to let go of what's no longer needed to be held or carried. So a release, if it feels right. Just reaffirming your intention, your sankalpa, a few more times to self internally. Creating a few moments of pause. And then if you've been lying down, just take a moment to draw the knees into the chest, give them a hug, roll around a little bit, and then roll to one side and come up to seated. And if you've been seated with me, then check in which leg is closest to you and which leg is farthest away. If you're in a cross, extend, shake out. Might do a few ankle and wrist circles. If you're joining us in seated, you might take those before you go into seated. And then crossing the legs the other way. And we're going to release the arms just to the side and inhale and just gather up our intention today, our sankalpa. Maybe the gaze lifts. And as the palms touch, receive it on the exhale through the body and the mind, noticing your wholeness, So we go through that 3 times at your rhythm. As you pass through 3 times, we're going to go into a little side release. So if having the legs crossed, remember you can always extend the legs. We're just going to choose one arm to lift up. The other palm of the hand can be flat on the floor. So you come up, just check in how your arm is feeling. Maybe the hand goes to the shoulder. Maybe you feel okay to extend over. Your hand that's on the floor, you might even feel the elbow bend and a little bit of leaning of that palm into the floor, and it will support your foundation to allow the shoulders and the neck to find a little bit more ease. And then just allow yourself to flow. Inhale, exhale. See if rooting that palm of the hand into the floor provides a little bit more lower body stability as the shoulders and neck rest on that support from the ground up through the body. And just allow space for your body to flow. You might even feel instead of going up, you go forward. Sometimes when we shift up some movements that we do all the time, then the fascia that wraps around the muscles can rearrange and release some deeper holding patterns. So just check in. You might even feel the arms sliding back with palms up, back of the hands, arms on the floor, something that feels good. We're going to release the legs whenever that's complete. Bend them. And just do a few spinal waves to awaken the spine. So check in with wrists. How are they feeling? Do you want to have them stacked under the shoulders or under the knees? Sorry, under the shoulders or the elbows under the shoulders. Check in with your knees, top of the feet, toes tucked under. And then start with the exhalation. So movement starts at the pelvis as you exhale, sit bones reach down. Pelvis releases down, then you feel that ripple of release through the lumbar, the thoracic, all the way up through the cervical and the head. And as you inhale, the movement starts from the pelvis through the lumbar, the thoracic, the cervical, the head. As you flow here, just nourishing the disc in between the spine, maintaining that fluidity of the spine. You might want to circle a little bit, using the spine as the center point and circling around as if the spine is jumping on a skipping rope. Go both directions. Or a little digestive awareness. You might even feel inhale, exhale, The legs shift to the right, and the torso lengthens out through the top of the head. And there's a turn towards your legs. You're creating a half C shape. And you can breathe here, feel the slight compression on one side, the elongation through the other, and then switching back to center. Inhale, exhale, moving to the other side. At any time you want to get off the wrists and come down into child's pose, you can open and close the hands a few times. Might pause here on the floor. If you didn't do a lateral stretch on the hands and knees, you might come down and offer it to self here, walking the arms to one side. And just letting your breath and your sankalpa be present here. We're going to come up and just move into a downward dog. It might just be through a transition. Inhale, exhale. If you don't want to go into downward dog, you might just step one foot forward in a lunge, step the other foot, and just come up into part of a forward fold. And then meet us in standing. We're just going to do a little bit of foot rolling as we come up. So those of you here in downward dog, you might pause for a moment, walk out the legs, just let the body express. Notice, does one leg want to come up? Do you want to look under the arm and bend the knee? My leg is wanting to do hip a few circles in the air. Remember, being inverted is not supporting any dizziness or nervous system dysregulation, then don't be there. Slowly take some time to find yourself in your forward fold. Come up when you're ready. And then once you come up to standing, just do a few swinging twists. Might feel a little bit of shaking, really good for the nervous system. Might be a little bit coming up onto the toes and then just dropping down into the heels. Oh. Accompanying that with a release out the mouth, a little wiggling, have a little bit of tapping just to ground here. Shape flick, sweeping, okay, all of these releasing embodiment tools. Find a little bit of fluidity. And when we find fluidity in the fascia, then the nervous system can find fluidity as they are connected. Okay, so you're going to grab on to whatever you're using for your foot rolling and just have it on your mat. And take a moment just to stand in Tadasana. You might turn the palms forward, might be facing you or behind. Check in with the connection of your feet and the earth rising up to meet your feet. Seeing which foot is calling to be your stability and which foot is wanting to receive the foot rolling first. So you press down on the foot that is wanting to be your stability, slowly lifting up, feeling the rooting down, the lifting up through the lower belly, gathering the ribs and feeling that internal line all the way out the top of your head. As the leg floats up, and then you're going to feel you rolling. So exploring from heel to toe. So just doing that action of combing. So when we go with the muscle fibers, we're combing the fascia and the muscles. So this helps to release when there's a lot of tightness, maybe even little adhesions in the fascia. So it's kind of like if you feel when you wake up in the morning and you've got little knots in your hair, and there's little kind of places where you're all knotted up. When you comb, you're releasing that, you're elongating the fibers. And then check in. Are there some spots maybe in the upper transverse arch? So that's below the toes, under the metatarsals, from big toe to pinky toe. You might just roll the ball underneath here. So this is where you transfer through the feet when you walk. So heel touches, you move through the inner arch, and then you press off this transfer point of the transfer inner arch and through the toes. So it propels you forward. And then you can go into medial arch, big toe to inner heel, check in. What are you feeling there? You might pause and offer a little bit of compression, holding and easing off, or just holding, allowing time for the fascia to unwind. So when we have this awareness of feeling a little bit of holding, we can use the breath to enhance our myofascial release. Good. And just breathing here. And so other option is to go across the foot. So this is called cross fibering. And we're also going to do it in with a little bit of pressure. So sometimes you can have what is called a little bit of shearing. So you can press down on the ball and then drag the ball, roll the ball across the inner arch towards the medial arch. So going from lateral arch, pinky, outer heel, across that arc of the foot to the medial arch, big toe to inner heel. Just helping to release any deeper holding. And then see, is there anything holding in lateral arch? Pinky to outer heel, maybe in the heel itself. So we're all going to be at different rhythms through our foot rolling. When it feels right, you just take a moment to stand and feel how that first foot feels compared to the other. Might wiggle around a little bit. It might just be still. Noticing that connection all the way up through the leg. So what's shifted through that whole side, maybe even in the side body, the shoulder. Okay. A little circling through the nose. Just drawing really small circles in the nose just to articulate the cervical spine with the skull. Okay, it really helps the communication here of the cervical spine with the skull. And sometimes really close in the occipital muscles. They're the deep capitis muscles that connect from the upper cervical spine to the ridge of the skull. Get a little bit tight, especially if we do a lot of computer work or we have a chin forward position. There's a compression here. And so sometimes we get tension headaches from that. Sometimes we can feel a little bit of a loss of proprioception as well. Okay, so as you root down through the other foot, take some time to just feel the rooting down, the pulling up, and let that other leg float up. Feel body as a whole before you start foot rolling on the other side. And just let yourself explore here what's needed. Uh, hmm, good. So just leaving a little bit more space here for you to feel where you need to go through the combing, exploring all three arches. You might even feel the ball comes under that transverse arch and the toes wrap around and feel that widening through the top of the foot. And when we widen that top of the foot, we can feel how we start to open the connection through the ankle, the shin, the knee, the quadricep into the psoas and the iliacus muscle, which then is going to transfer into the release of the front of the diaphragm and go up into the sternum. Mm, good. Being guided to share at any time while you do the rolling, to let the breath out the mouth, maybe pursing the lips, maybe even a physiological sigh coming back in, two inhales through the nose, pause, and a pursed lip out the mouth. Or you omit the pause, and it's just two inhales through nose, and then slowly transitioning into the pursed lip breath out the mouth. So we're going to take some time just to check in. But when that's complete, and just moving that off to the side and seeing if the body wants a few shoulder rolls, maybe drawing the shoulders up, exhale, bending the knees, releasing out the mouth. Going in both directions. Okay, we're going to do a little merging of the owl wings for the shoulders. We've been doing a lot of work on the computer, so I'm just adding in a few things to release the body. So we're going to start with the arms away from us. And I'm just going to come a little bit closer. And our first mudra is going to be Jnana mudra. So it's index and thumb. The other three fingers, you can wiggle them, but then you want them to just very softly lean together. So you want to try to have a neutral wrist. So try not to be in extension or flexion. Okay, so very neutral with heavy elbows. So you can bring in that mudra. Find the top of your mat. So it's really beautiful, integrating both sides of the body. The index and the thumb, when you softly lean them equally into each other, activates myofascially all the way up through the forearm, the elbow, the bicep, the front of the shoulder, the front of the deltoid, into the heart and the pec muscles. So as you bend the knees, you're going to lift one foot up, allow it to levitate, lean forward. So we're always moving from the pelvis, not the lower back, stepping one foot back about 3 to 3.5 feet. You can walk the front foot out. Fine warrior one. So squaring the hips forward. We're going to bring the arms up, elbows bent. So the palms are facing forward. So just settle here, feel all of your toes. So you're going to bring the thumb and the index towards one another. So really keeping heavy in the elbows. And you're going to open the arms. You're going to feel the shoulder blades gently squeezing together. So try to keep the palms of the hands facing forward. Now you can be static in body as you just move arms, working at maximum 70% effort. Or if you feel as you inhale and open, exhale, arms come together, you might find the leg wants to straighten. My body wants to do it on the inhales, the arms open, and then rebend as you come together. Just tugging along the line, doing a slide and glide. Flow with your breath, even if it's a little bit different. Just let your breath be a guide. Okay, we're gonna do a couple more. And then once you find the lunge, you're gonna release the arms, release the mudra, shake out your arms, interlace them behind you, and just draw down with the hands as you open and widen the collarbones. Feel a little bit of pressing down into the feet, gathering and lifting up through the lower belly, drawing in and up. Both sides of the rib cage come together. Gentle release up through the top of the head. Feeling back body. A little bit of compression here and that expansion through front. Check if the gaze wants to travel just forward or there's a lift from the lower belly, heart, upper chest, head to look up. And then you're going to release, lean forward into the front foot, shake it out. Okay, so now we're going to go into back body. And so you can choose if you've got a lot of tension up through your neck or your shoulders, or sometimes you get ringing in the ears, you might go into the hand mudra Akash, which is thumb touching middle finger. So this is space. Okay, the other three fingers, you wiggle them, you relax. Okay, there's a soft leaning of thumb and middle finger. If you want to go into shoulder blades a little bit more, we can go into Earth Prithvi. Okay, so this is the element of earth, thumb and ring finger. If you want to go into Pranavayu, which gets the whole shoulder blade, which is thumb, ring, and pinky, index and middle fingers in a V, then you can go here. And I'm getting balloons. Yay! Hey. So arms by your side. I'm going to go into prana. So opposite leg, if you're following me, that's left leg stays forward. Pressing, rooting down, feeling the lift of the leg, bending forward with the pelvis, stepping back, finding warrior one, Whole body turns forward. And this time your palms are facing you. Okay, so heavy elbows, strong feet, rooting and lifting up through front body. You might just start with the arms, softly leaning on the pads of the fingers and thumbs that are leaning into each other. And you can always straighten the front leg and then rebend it. Find how your breath wants to flow today. So we're working myofascially through the lines of connection, bringing a little flow in. You're gauging how long you want to do it for. Whenever that completes, we're going to go back in to warrior one. This time, we're just going to open the arms, wrap around, give ourselves a hug. Feel the shoulder blades widen. Just focus on back body. My body's wanting to go into little nose circles. You can just be here. If it doesn't feel good to stay in warrior one, you can always step back foot forward, open back body here in Tadasana. Okay, release. Shake it out. And just do a few ankle circles. So just notice right ankle, either on the floor or elevated, just a little balancing here. Go both directions. Maybe a little shake. If it feels better to have the toes on the ground, do so. Uh, Now, hopefully we have a little bit of a wall beside us. If not, go and find one. You can also close a door and use the back of the door. Just make sure you give it a nice tug. We're going to now, so we warmed up body with the tensegrity arms, the owl wings. And sometimes I'll do that with the slow ball, but I'm not too sure everyone has a slow ball. So we did it with the fascia. And then you're going to take your ball and you're going to check in with body. Where do you feel the tightest? So some of you might feel, oh, I feel a little tight on the shoulders. Okay, so we're never rolling on the spine. We're either to the right or the left. You can start on one shoulder. It might be in the lower back, around the QL. You might feel that you want to roll on the wall with the ball on the hip. Okay, so for me, my body asks me to be in hip, so I've just placed the ball against the wall. Exhale, settle, and then just allow the pressure to be soft as you ball roll through the parts of your body, just slowly letting the fascia open up and let you in. So, not forcing. Use your breath as a tool, releasing out mouth. I'm taking the ball and I was rolling a little bit through the hips. And then what I did was I found the greater trochanter bone and I was rolling around the greater trochanter bone. We have a lot of muscles and tendons that attach here. So you might find this area feeling a little bit of holding. So sometimes we do ball rolling on the floor, but today I'm offering it standing, which is a little bit different. then maybe how you do it. But if your body wants you to come down to the floor and do a little bit of rolling on the floor, then you modify that for yourself. There's a lot of holding for me in my upper shoulders and my traps. So I'm just going to spend some time here. So you can cross fibers, so go across the muscle fiber. You can comb, you can find a spot and just softly lean into it and breathe. Slowly feel the unwinding. So the sympathetic nervous system, the fibers in the fascia, when we feel a little bit more fight or flight, or a little bit more of a hyper awareness in our nervous system, we'll feel that closer to the surface of the skin. And our parasympathetic fibers, more free nerve endings, we'll feel that deeper in the body, connecting more interoceptively. So sometimes we feel pain on different levels or sensation on different levels, closer to the skin, maybe in the middle of the body, maybe deeper. Sometimes we might feel itch, or we might feel temperature, or we might feel a spreading sensation of awareness through the body. I want to show uh, it's being called in. So I'm going to modify my computer for a moment to see if I can transfer this to you, because I feel some of us have tightness in the top of our shoulders. So I'm just showing you, and what you need here is a corner. And I like to place the ball towards the top of the shoulder. And then I've got my left shoulder that I'm going to put into the wall. Yeah, that's good. And so you can see the ball, and I'm leaning into the corner, so pressing the ball in and letting the arms be dangling, let the head go. And then you can very softly roll here through the shoulders. I just like to press and hold. I have a warrior one stance with legs. So if you're massaging left shoulder, you can have right leg forward in your warrior one. Hopefully that came across okay for you. I'm just going to do my other side. Remembering when we're working one area, we try not to stay there for more than 2 to 3 minutes. And then just taking in over the neck bit. Is there any part of your body that would like to just receive the rolling against the wall? Or if you're on the floor. Okay, you're just going to complete that when it feels right. Take a moment just to stand. I'm going to slowly finish up practice. Just wanted to do some myofascial release, just to release some areas of holding. So from sitting to the back to the shoulders. So option here is to just sit down on the floor and lie down or to flow towards the floor. So if you're going to flow, you find the short end of your mat, palms come together. Take a moment to exhale, connecting in with yourself. What needs to come in to create a little bit of integrity for you that stood up? And how can your body find and rest also in that ease? Sukham. When you're ready, exhale, arms come down. Inhale, arms come up. If you choose, you can come down into a chair and then flow from the pelvis as the pelvis reaches up through sit bones. The spine follows by releasing down, even weight through the feet. Staying here or transitioning out into a downward dog or straight down to the floor in child's pose. As you come down into child's pose, arms nice and wide. Knees can be together or hip width apart or a little bit wider. And we're going to go into the wave pose. So you do this as far as it feels comfortable for you. I'm going to show you a couple variations. I like to have the knees hip width apart or a little bit closer, top of the feet on the floor. Very soft, modified child's pose as the arms are extended, hands nice and wide. You're going to press down through feet. Feel the start of the deep front line come in as you unfurl through the pelvis, the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, and you just come into plank with the knees on the floor. So it's just coming into extension. Then you inhale, exhale, reach back through the pelvis, come back into a modified child's pose. So you're allowing that extension to come in. Inhale, exhale back. And then if it feels right, you can continue on from the modified plank. Try not to just let the pelvis go, but feel the pubic bone, the lower belly lifting up. So you feel integrity here as you lift from lower belly, upper belly, gather the ribs, widen the sit bones from heart, upper chest, and head. And you lead back with pelvis. You fold all the way through as if you feel that awareness of a wave through. Remember, if I offer something and it doesn't feel good, you take something else or you rest. Or if you feel any tension in neck or shoulders, try to bring a little bit more integrity in the lower part of the body. And then pause. You can pause in child's pose. You can pause on hands and knees, elbows and knees. Just want to do a little thread of the needle. So we inhale one arm up. And exhale, flow it through, not all the way down, just part way. So open, thread it through. I'm just down on my forearms as my wrists have asked that of me. And the third time, feel free to drop shoulder, head. You can extend one arm forward. Breathe here. Doing a twist on your back feels better. Feel free. And you go into the other side when you're ready. No rush. Feel the 3 inhales, hard exhale through. Once it feels right to come out, you can descend down onto your mat. Take a moment to arrive here. Good. You might draw the knees into the chest, knee chest pose, Apanasana, or a little wiper of the legs. Okay, some of you do have a semi-inflated slow ball and you want to put it under the pelvis and roll around on it a little bit. Feel free. Do want to just go into a little psoas release to end. So we're going to extend right leg on the floor. Have the toes pointed. Okay, left foot, very soft rooting. Exhale, just become heavy here. And then you can roll the leg out, external rotation back to center and internally rotate as you breathe. Keep reaching through the toes and see, does that one arm want to come up of the extended leg? Sometimes both arms. You might even be in a V or a T or arms down by side. My arms want to be up overhead for this one. And then so this is releasing front body. And then we're going to release back body. So we're going to bring leg back to neutral and then root out through the heel. So reaching through the whole rim of the heel. The toes are passive, so you can even wiggle them to make sure that they're not working. And as you keep reaching out through the heel, you're going to roll the leg out and in. Feel your breath. Right. Pause in any place that body asks for. And when that feels complete, you can do a little pointing and flexing. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. Just feel that slide and glide through the front and back of the legs. So when you point, you feel it through the front. And when you root through the heel, you can feel the tugging through the whole back of the leg. And you may even feel it into the front and back of the body. Okay, slide it back. Check in. The arms want to come down. There's a little wipering movement before moving into other side, extending the opposite leg. For some of you, it might be your left if you're following me. Toes pointing. Take a moment to exhale and rise. And then rolling the leg out and in. Sometimes head chooses to follow with the leg. Sometimes it wants to be in center. Check what arms want to do. When you're ready, reaching through heel, toes passive. Once again, wiggling them if you choose, and then rolling out. back to neutral and in. And then as you come back, SAS body, is there something else that you need to do to end practice? So just check in. What is that for you? My body requested a baby pose. You might have a figure four or another twist, something else. And just taking some time to settle into your final resting pose, whether it's constructive rest on the floor with the knees bent, maybe a bolster, and extending the legs, or if you have a wall and you want to go into legs up the wall or heart bed. Just taking a moment to arrive as you settle, bringing in a touch of awareness on the exhalation. Maybe the breath sighs out the mouth or a pursed lip, or a physiological sigh comes in again. The two inhales through nose, pursed lip out mouth. You see how arms want to be. Do they just want to be palms up, away from body, maybe resting on belly, or coming back to belly, heart. As we arrive into integration in our practice, seeing if the body can just receive stillness. Let your breath breathe you, thanking yourself for all the growth and evolution that has arrived for you over this last while. Noticing your Sankalpa drift back into your awareness. And just see if your practice supported your intention today. And just allow a moment of inquiry. Notice what's appearing for you from the ripple of the practice. And just note that the benefits will continue to unfold throughout the rest of the day. I'm going to read you a little piece of writing that came to be shared today, and it's called Tending to Our Gardens. As we close the eyes to move inward, a tug of war is revealed, the clamor of the untamed mind swinging from thought branch to thought branch, all in search of contentment. Dismantling these patterns, we reveal a serene lake abiding at our center, a place of refuge, interbelonging, rhythms aligning with nature's sanctuary. Each time we tend to our inner garden, we blossom through abundance and joy. Each time we tend to our inner garden, we blossom through abundance and joy. Take some time here just to pause for a couple minutes and leave some silence. As you meet your breath with your awareness, just in the stillness of body, noticing yourself being open to receive. This time we spend on the mat creates a foundation for body to release and align. And also this time for the mind to process what it needs to process and balance into this place of inner wholeness. Each one of the gifts of the practice is bringing us back through all the layers of our kosha, through body, energy, breath, mind, emotion, unraveling those moments of insight and wisdom as we integrate into our bliss body, recognizing our true self. As we move through these layers, at times we can feel quite quiet, and other times we notice a disturbance. We can be in that place of awareness of just noticing what's unraveling for us and then visiting our toolbox that each of us have to dig into those tools to help find a place of homeostasis and regulation to bring us back home. I thank you for taking this time to meet yourself, for sharing your practice. Mm. Just thanking as well all the teachers that have shared their knowledge with us over the years, and having this collective honoring